Alright guys, day 3. It's now Tuesday, and block's all assembled. As you just saw in the last video, I'm about to slide it in the car. Been a minute since I played with this thing, but to get it going, slide this thing in here real quick and try to get this thing going. I mean, I shouldn't have any issues getting it done tonight. I did run by the store, grab some oil, and then I grabbed a fresh timing belt too while I was at it. Since I am running a standard belt, I don't really want to run it too long anyway, because they don't make a Gates blue belt for this one. It's like 103 tooth or something like that for the D15B. It's the same belt as a D15Z1, which comes in the VTEC E. I think all the VTEC E's use the same belt. But anyway, that's that. I'm gonna get this thing in here. Basically the same way I did it last time. I'm gonna just pick it up and stick it in there. I know a lot of you guys thought that was funny, but that's how I do it, and I've been doing it like that for a good little while. I used to actually do it underneath the car, but I used to slide it under and then do that, but I have to take the traction bar and whatnot to do that. Sounds like too much work. When you can just pick it up. It only weighs like, I don't know, with the clutch and flywheel on it. And brackets, it probably weighs 150 pounds, roughly. So it's not terribly heavy. I mean, it's heavy enough, but it's not too bad. Once you get it in the hole, then you just gotta basically maneuver it on. It's not normally too bad to get on there as long as your clutch is lined up good. Like that. Alright. Well, that was nice and easy. That's what I like. Well, it's that simple. And then I grab the post mount that goes on the side of the block, bolt it on, and then just pick it up to the mount, and block's in. Alright, and once those are tight, just pick it up and put the motor mount back on. Alright. So I need to open these holes up just a little bit, so I'm going to use a step bit. I just need to go a tiny bit. They almost fit right now. I can actually thread them into the hole. I can get them to go through, but once I get past the threads, the shank is going to be just a tiny bit too big. And I don't want it to be that tight trying to get it on there anyway, so. We're going to open them up just a little bit. I only need to do the corners and then these two and that one. The others are open up big enough for it's not an issue. All right. That should do it. Just open them up just a little bit more to make sure these fit. Yeah. All right, so now I will copper spray this gasket and get this thing ready to go on. Copper spray the gasket. While I'm doing that, I'm going to clean the surface up, and then we'll be just about ready to go on. There is still one more thing I'm going to have to do with the washers. The washers that come with the SRT4 kit aren't going to fit in there unless you have the machine, the head machine. So Alright, so GoPro battery's dying, so I'm going to charge it up real quick while I'm doing that. So while I'm doing that, I'll use my phone. Alright, I got to spray the head gasket. I use this copper spray by Permatex. I always copper spray them and then stick them on. I just opened up the holes for the studs. So those are all opened up. So I'm gonna copper spray it, let it sit for a few minutes. I normally do 2 coats of copper spray, and then once that's done, or while that's happening, I'm gonna clean up the block surface, get that ready. And then once the block surface is ready, then we'll slide the head on. I was saying as the battery died on the GoPro, the washers that come with the SRT4 kit are very big. And I'll show you a comparison in a minute. So they're much wider than the opening that's in the head. So what I'll probably end up doing is opening up the old washers enough for the stud to go through, just barely enough for the stud to go through, and then use those. So I think that's going to be my best option. Otherwise you have to machine the head to make the bigger washers fit, and I'm not dealing with all that. Alright, so I'm going to spray this thing real quick, and then I'll show you when it's all done. Alright, block's all cleaned up, and the gasket is copper sprayed. I'm just going to throw the intake manifold out here on the head real quick, and probably throw the cam and rocker arm assembly in. That's how I normally put them on. And then we're getting close. Alright, I'm gonna grab my my gasket, throw it on the block real fast. And then drop my head on and slide my studs in. Should probably replace this hose before I do that, because it's way easier to do now though. I'm just going to actually take it off for now, and then I'll get it back on when it's in place, because I think I could reuse this hose. Got a nice split in there. So I'm actually gonna cut it down and then reuse the loop, I think, as long as I can. I'll check when I get it in there, but I'll put it on there without it for now. Easy enough to get in there, not that big a deal. Alright, wipe this head surface down one more time. Alright, we're going to drop the head on. Everything's all cleaned up, gasket's in place. I'm going to stick the head on, then we'll start dropping studs in. And then we'll go from there. I like to put the studs in after the head, just so I'm not fighting to get it in place. But I do actually need to grab my turbo manifold. Much easier to put in now. Alright, I'm going to set the turbo manifold in there real quick. It's much easier for me to set this in here now. When I try to put this in after, it's a real pain to get in place. So if I can get it in place, I actually try to put the head onto the manifold and set it all in as one. It's just trying to get it out with the head on, or put it in with the head on is there just isn't enough room. It's just a little too tight. All right, let's slide her on. Alright, that's in place. Just drop these studs on and get this thing torqued down. Alright, so far it looks good. Everything depth-wise looks good. You can see how much the stud's sticking out or not sticking out. It looks perfect right now. So I'm just gonna snug these down real lightly. This one just had a little more pressure on it, probably hitting the head a little bit on the way down. Not really a big deal. Alright, everything looks like it's got good bite. I'm going to drop my washers on that I drilled, and then I'll lubricate these things and put my nuts on. washers went on good. Grab my nuts and then some lube. Should be some. Oh, normally there's a pack of assembly lube in here, but not in this one. That's okay. I think I have a couple of them. Let me go check my other shed. Oh, it's dark. Hey, got some pretty cool sunset going on in the backyard. It's pretty nice. Yeah, my new house is. I bought another house that's. Oh, it's really dark in here. Hold on. House is on 1.25 acres because I plan on building a shop here eventually. But for now, I got this shed garage deal that's here, so it's a nice little space for now, that's for sure. So grab one of my other boxes of happy stuff and see if there's some lube in there, and it looks like there is. Alright, so we'll lube this thing up real quick. I like to do the bottom of the nut where it hits the washer, and then obviously the threads itself. These nuts are obviously bigger than the let's see, put them next to each other. Big comparison in the size of the nut itself, or big difference anyway. So anyway, I like to put them all over the face here, so when you're torquing it, it gets nice and smooth, and then obviously on the threads itself too. So. All right, so that worked good. All the nuts cleared, everything. It sits right on top of that washer. Like I said, I oversized the D16 washers. Everything's sitting down there good. No clearance issues. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing torqued. I don't know if I've ever explained this or not. I know a bunch of people have asked, and I've told them I do 20 foot-pounds, then I do 90 foot-pounds. Not 90, sorry. 20 foot-pounds, then 40 foot-pounds, and then I do a 90-degree turn. And I'll show you real quick. I use this little degree wheel. You can get them at Auto Parts Store. They're like $15 or something. They're nothing special. So, first things first, we'll do our 20 foot-pounds. All right. And there's your 20, and now we're going to go to 40. There's 40. I like to go back and just check these to make sure, because a lot of times the centers can take a little more. Especially with these O-rings. Alright guys, sorry my memory died, but I'm back. We're getting real close. I gotta still jack it up and throw the crank the crank pulley on, get timing all done. I'm just getting everything plugged in and hooked back up right now, and then put some fluids in it, and we're getting close. Put the exhaust back on. Nothing crazy. We're not too far away. Alright, and since this is a fresh motor, I am using what I use as break-in oil, which is a non-detergent 30 weight. I run this for, I don't know, 50 miles or something like that. Then I go to whatever standard oil I'm going to use. I normally use a Castrol 20W50, a Rotella 1540, something like that. At least a 1540. I normally run a 2050. But this is non-detergent 30 weight Valvoline. I picked this up at Advanced Auto Parts. This is what I use. Any non-detergent 30 weight doesn't matter. Really, this is like for air compressors. So anyway, that's what I use for break-in oil. It's got new bearings, got new rings, and then I change it pretty quickly. Alright, about to do the first startup. Battery was dead, so jumping it off my golf cart right now. So get this thing set up and try again. Let's see if it'll crank at least off the golf cart. And that basically did nothing. Get a good bite on this thing. Oh, alright. I gotta get in and give it some gas. good.